You felt it in your body all day, a subtle pull, a quiet ache, an urgency that doesn't quite make sense in the natural. That's because this moment is not natural. It's prophetic. Tonight, before 9 o'clock, you are standing at a threshold that heaven itself has marked. The hour is not just about the time on a clock. It is about the posture of your soul. The question is not whether the door will open, but whether you will open with it. Think of your heart as a chamber with a door. It doesn't swing wide by effort or by frenzy. It responds to willingness. You don't force it with noise or prove it with performance. You open by yielding. A sigh, a prayer, a whispered yes. These are the keys that turn unseen locks. When the Spirit calls, the loudest answer is often the simplest surrender. The threshold is not just external. It is the unseen hinge inside you, where fear and faith wrestle. Tonight that hinge is groaning. Every doubt tries to rust it shut. Every distraction presses against it. But willingness, even fragile willingness, has the strength to swing it open. You do not need polished words. You do not need perfect strength. You need only to say, "Here I am." That phrase, spoken from the marrow, shifts the atmosphere more than any display ever could. What happens when you open? Atmospheres shift, paths straighten, delays loosen. It isn't always fireworks or visible signs. Sometimes it's peace flooding your chest where anxiety once sat a day. Sometimes it's clarity arriving in the form of one phone call, one text, one thought that won't release until you follow it. That's the miracle of timing. Heaven doesn't shout endlessly. It whispers at appointed moments, and right now is one of them. Don't think of this as a deadline designed to frighten you. Think of it as an invitation with urgency, like a train that pauses just long enough for you to step aboard. If you linger, the platform grows quiet, and the opportunity moves down the track. Not gone forever, but delayed. And delay has its own cost. Tonight, heaven's rhythm is aligning, and 9 o'clock is less about a number than about readiness. What you choose to do in this hour sets a tone for what follows. Open in prayer, open in stillness, open by releasing the weight you've carried, even open by forgiving yourself for all the ways you think you failed. That simple willingness is the hinge, and 9 o'clock is when the latch clicks. So as you breathe in now, imagine the unseen door before you. See it glowing, waiting. With every exhale, let go of what stiffens your stance. With every inhale, receive the courage to turn the key. You don't need to know what's behind it yet. You only need to open. This is your 9 o'clock threshold. Heaven has extended its hand. The moment belongs to you. Step through. When heaven speaks of a scroll, it isn't parchment in the way we imagine. It's a record of identity, of purpose, of lineage. Tonight, before 9, the message isn't only that a door is opening, it's that your name has been inscribed on something eternal. The scroll isn't about status, it's about assignment. And when your name is written, your life becomes evidence that heaven is intentional. You felt it, this sense that your journey has been too precise to be random. The betrayals that pushed you into solitude, the rejections that bruised your pride, the delays that carved patience into your bones, those weren't detours. They were the slow strokes of a pen writing your name into a larger story. And now, when you breathe, you are breathing in alignment with words heaven already recorded. This is why you cannot dismiss yourself as ordinary. Yes, your circumstances may look plain. Yes, others may overlook you. But heaven does not write your name without also writing a mantle over it. A mantle is not a title you wear in public. It's the invisible weight on your shoulders that reshapes how you walk through life. It asks you to choose differently, to step out of cycles that swallowed your ancestors, to live in a way that doesn't always make sense to those around you. Your lineage is more than bloodlines. It's patterns, behaviors, unspoken agreements. And when heaven sets you apart, it doesn't erase your family history, it redeems it. You become the pivot point where chains turn into crowns, where silence turns into song. That's why the weight has felt heavier on you. You were not only carrying your story, you were carrying the assignment of reversal. Think of the scroll with your name as a divine decree that says, "This one will not repeat what was before. This one will rise." When you feel that pressure, it isn't punishment, it's proof. Proof that you are carrying something larger than yourself. Proof that heaven trusts you with what others could not bear. But scrolls don't stay closed forever. There comes a time when what was written is read aloud, when the private inscription becomes a public assignment. That's what tonight represents. The opening is not just for opportunity, it's for unveiling. What was hidden is now being declared. So, how do you live with your name on the scroll? You start by aligning your daily choices with your eternal identity. Small obedience is where scrolls unfold. Choosing silence when anger rises. Choosing prayer when fear whispers. Choosing to bless when bitterness begs for attention. These are not small things. These are acts of alignment that echo louder than sermons. Your name is already spoken in rooms your feet haven't entered. It's already echoing in places you've never been. Heaven has sealed it, and tonight you're being asked to agree with it. To stop calling yourself ordinary when heaven has called you chosen. To stop shrinking when your lineage depends on your rising. Remember this, being set apart doesn't make you better, but it does make you responsible. The scroll doesn't flatter, it commissions, and your commission is active now. Step into it. Live as though your name is already known in heaven's council, because it is. You've noticed it, haven't you? The strange arguments that appear out of nowhere, the sudden tension in rooms that once felt calm, the delay at the exact moment you were ready to move forward. Resistance is rarely random, it is diagnostic. It shows up when you are near the threshold of change. Think of resistance as a shadow that lengthens only when you stand close to the light. If nothing were shifting, if nothing were being unlocked, there would be no reason for the opposition to rise. The very fact that irritation has spiked, distractions have multiplied, or relationships have strained, is evidence that you are carrying something worth fighting against. You are on approach. You are already in orbit around your breakthrough. But here is where most falter. They mistake resistance for rejection. They believe the tension means heaven has withdrawn, when in fact it's a signal that heaven has drawn closer. Hell shouts loudest when heaven is near. The sudden chaos isn't proof you're lost, it's proof you're aligned. How do you read resistance without partnering with it? First, slow down. When the atmosphere swirls, pause long enough to notice the pattern. Is it fatigue rising every time you sit down to pray? Is it miscommunication flaring with people who normally understand you? Is it unusual technical glitches right as you step into your work? These are not coincidences, they are strategies. But strategies lose power when you name them. Second, resist the reflex to fight people. Flesh and blood are not your true opponents. The real battle is always unseen. If you lash out at people, you partner with the very distraction designed to derail you. Instead, anchor yourself. A whispered peace under your breath, a 5-minute step outside to reset your nervous system, a journal entry to name the storm without letting it command you. These are acts of authority. Third, remember that resistance often mirrors the exact place of your assignment. If you are called to speak, resistance will target your voice. If you are called to create, resistance will target your focus. If you are called to reconcile, resistance will stir division. This is diagnostic. Don't be shocked, be strategic. Where the battle rages, the blessing waits. There is a rhythm in this. Resistance rises, clarity follows, breakthrough breaks. That's the cycle. And tonight, if the atmosphere has felt heavier, it's because the opening is near. The more deliberate the pushback, the more certain the approach. So do not misread the signs. Do not collapse under the noise. Instead, let the resistance become confirmation. It doesn't mean stop. It means steady. It doesn't mean delay. It means discern. And above all, it doesn't mean abandon. It means advance with awareness. Tonight, you are not asked to be flawless. You are asked to be faithful, faithful to see resistance for what it is, the shadow that proves the light has come close. Stand, read it rightly, and refuse to mistake noise for truth. Faith is often spoken of like a feeling, something invisible, something abstract. But tonight, before 9, you need to see faith as a manual act, something you do with your hands, your body, your breath. It isn't an idea floating above you. It is a lever you pull, a sail you raise, a key you turn. Think of the way you clean a room before a guest arrives. It's not the sweeping that summons the visitor, but the sweeping shows you expect them. That's what small acts of faith look like. They don't create God's presence, they prepare you to receive it. So what can you do tonight that confirms belief to your own nervous system? Start simple. Choose one corner of your room to clear. As you move what's unnecessary, pray under your breath, make space in me too. The action anchors the prayer. Your body remembers. Then speak something aloud. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It might be, I receive alignment, or I open to what heaven prepared. Why out loud? Because faith spoken pierces atmosphere. Words shift air. Your own ears need to hear your agreement with what your spirit already knows. And finally, take one step, a literal step. Stand in your room, face the door, and move forward. Whisper as you do, I cross over. Let your feet teach your soul what transition feels like. The body becomes a sermon the spirit understands. These may seem small, but they are not trivial. Micro-obediences hold macro power. The woman who touched the edge of Christ's garment did not write a speech. She stretched out a trembling hand. A soldier dipping in the Jordan 7 times did not build an altar first. He simply obeyed the strange instruction. Breakthroughs often rest on the smallest motions of faith. Tonight your manual acts become hinges. Heaven is not testing you for worthiness. Heaven is aligning you through simplicity. Do the sweep, speak the word, take the step. These 3 are your offering before 9 o'clock, and they are enough. And when doubt whispers, what difference can this make? Remember, faith does not measure impact by size, but by alignment. A whisper can carry more authority than a shout when it is tuned to heaven's frequency. So do not despise the small act. Do not wait for the perfect prayer or the polished ritual. Do something tangible, something now. Let your body join your spirit in agreement. Faith is not a theory, it is movement. And tonight, your movement is the evidence that you are ready. There are doors that only open with keys of gold, and there are doors that only open with forgiveness. Forgiveness is the gate you cannot bypass. It isn't about excusing the wrong or pretending the wound didn't happen. It is about releasing the hook that keeps your future chained to their failure. Unforgiveness is a quiet thief. It doesn't shout, but it leaks. It drains your focus. It ties your emotions to old scenes. It slows your ability to respond when heaven moves. That's why this night carries weight. Before 9, the Spirit asks not just for your attention, but for your release. Picture your heart as a vessel with a narrow opening. The blessing is ready to pour, but the opening is clogged with debris, resentment, replayed arguments, silent bitterness. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's clearance. It widens the opening so what was stored can finally flow. Without it, the flow trickles. With it, the flood arrives. How do you forgive when the wound is fresh, or when the betrayal feels too deep? You start small. Name the weight out loud. I release this hurt. I forgive, not because they were right, but because I refuse to stay bound. You might not feel it instantly, but the act itself is a spiritual crowbar. It pries open what bitterness has sealed shut. Forgiveness also restores authority. The enemy loves to use old injuries as evidence against your readiness. He whispers, you can't step forward, you're still bleeding. But when you forgive, you disarm that accusation. You take back the keys. Forgiveness doesn't mean trust is restored with people who broke it, but it means you no longer carry their offense as your identity. Consider this. Your greatest acceleration may not come through effort, but through release. When you forgive, you lighten your load, and a lighter vessel moves faster in the currents of heaven. That's why resistance often flares hardest around forgiveness. It knows the gate is near. So tonight, let your act of faith include this hidden work. Whisper the names if you must. Write them on a slip of paper and burn it safely as a sign. Or kneel by your bed and say, "I choose freedom." However you do it, mean it enough to loosen your grip. Forgiveness is not an emotion, it is a decision that summons emotion later. Do it trembling, do it weary, but do it, because the gate won't open without it. And beyond that gate is what you've been waiting for. Remember, chosen one, forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. It frees your hands to receive. It clears your atmosphere for alignment. It opens the gate that no one else can open for you. Tonight, unlock it. Let forgiveness turn the latch and step into the space prepared for your release. Every promise has a place, and every place that holds promise must be guarded. Tonight, before 9, your room, your heart, your very atmosphere can become a consecrated space, a watchpost where heaven meets earth. To guard ground is not to live in paranoia. It is to recognize that sacred spaces deserve boundaries. Think of how you treat a garden. You fence it not because you distrust the plants, but because you know the value of what grows there. Your soul is no different. When heaven plants a word, distractions, envy, or even your own busyness try to trample the soil. Guarding the ground means choosing what gets access, what gets your attention, and what does not. Angels are not distant concepts, they are watchmen assigned. Even now, unseen presences stand at the threshold of your life, not because you begged for them, but because heaven deemed you worth protecting. But heaven's protection does not cancel your responsibility. You still decide what voices enter your ears, what images enter your eyes, what words roll off your tongue. These are gates, and gates must be watched. How do you guard practically tonight? Begin with silence. Turn down the noise, not because sound is evil, but because silence sharpens discernment. Then, dedicate your space. Whisper a prayer over your room. Let this place be a sanctuary. That act draws a line, a declaration to the unseen that this ground is holy. Guarding ground also means watching your body, what you eat, how you breathe, the way you rest. All of it either strengthens or drains your watch. Take 1 glass of water and bless it before you drink. Breathe deeply 3 times, exhaling tension, inhaling presence. These small actions signal that you honor the vessel carrying the promise. And do not neglect your speech. Words are seeds. Tonight, let your tongue guard the soil by refusing to plant curses, complaints, or careless phrases. Speak light, even if it's only 1 sentence repeated. Peace surrounds me here. That repetition is a hedge stronger than you realize. If resistance rises after you do this, do not panic. Increased opposition is a sign the ground is valuable. Stand firmer. Remember, guarded ground does not mean sealed-off isolation. It means selective openness. You are not called to lock yourself away in fear. You are called to host heaven with intention. So let your room be more than a room tonight. Let it be an altar. Let your silence become a shield. Let your boundaries become a beacon. This is how you protect the soil where the seed of acceleration will take root. Guard it well, because what is planted here is not just for you. It is for everyone who will eat from the fruit of your obedience. Every chosen one carries a treasure hidden beneath layers of ordinary life. You might think it's insignificant, something you overlook, something too small to matter. Yet heaven calls it the key. And tonight, before 9, the Spirit urges you to bring that hidden gift into use. What is this gift? It's not always a dramatic talent. Sometimes it's your voice words you've silenced out of fear. Sometimes it's your ability to listen, to sense, to encourage. Sometimes it's a creative impulse buried under years of survival. Whatever it is, the enemy has been after it. That's why resistance often rises around it. That's why people misunderstood it, mocked it, or made you doubt it. Because the key, if ever turned, unlocks atmospheres. Picture it like a lamp wrapped in cloth. It's still glowing underneath, but no one can see the light until you unwrap it. Tonight is about unwrapping, about using the gift, not for applause, but as alignment. When you step into it, heaven's current accelerates through you. How do you know you've touched the gift? The air shifts when you use it. Peace descends when you act from it. Others may not understand it, but they feel something stir in their spirit. That stirring is confirmation. It isn't about perfection, it's about willingness. This hidden gift is not just for you, it is for the breaking of chains, for the lifting of burdens, for the shifting of atmospheres. A simple word spoken at the right time can dismantle despair. A song hummed in a quiet kitchen can fill the air with courage. A prayer whispered over a child can bend a family line toward healing. Small acts through hidden gifts carry disproportionate weight. Tonight, you are asked to take the key in your hand and turn it. Speak, sing, write, pray, serve whatever your gift is, release it before 9. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect. Don't wait for confirmation from people who never understood you. Your confirmation comes from heaven's whisper. Use it now. The enemy tried to bury your gift under shame, distraction, and delay because he feared what would happen when it surfaced. But treasure buried is not treasure lost, it is treasure preserved for the right hour. And that hour is now. So unwrap it. Hold it up. Let the glow spill into the room. Don't judge it by size, judge it by obedience. Tonight, your hidden gift is not an accessory. It is the key that turns the unseen lock. And when you use it, the hinge will swing wider, the atmosphere will shift stronger, and the opening prepared for you will no longer delay. When heaven speaks of reversal, it does not mean simply undoing what has been done. It means flipping the very momentum of your life so that what once pushed against you now propels you forward. Tonight, before 9, you are being positioned inside this law of reversal. Think of a tide. For hours it seems relentless, pulling back, pulling away, stripping the shore of what it carried. Then, without warning, it shifts. The same water that retreated begins to return, carrying treasure, carrying provision, carrying renewal. That's what divine reversal looks like. What once felt like loss becomes the carrier of gain. Reversal is rarely loud. It often moves sideways, through doors you didn't expect. You prayed for provision, and a stranger extended favor. You prayed for healing, and clarity of mind came first. You asked for breakthrough, and forgiveness unlocked it before finance did. That's how heaven moves, precise, layered, often indirect, but always exact. So how do you steward reversal when it comes? First, by discernment. Not every open door is yours. You test the door by peace. If stepping through it makes your spirit settle, even when your mind feels stretched, it's likely alignment. If stepping through it produces confusion or agitation, pause. Heaven's doors are weighty, but not chaotic. Second, by gratitude. The miracle multiplies in the atmosphere of thanks. When you recognize reversal, say it aloud. I see it. I thank you. This small acknowledgement keeps the door swinging wider. Gratitude oils the hinge. Third, by humility. Reversal often brings attention. Suddenly the one overlooked becomes the one called forward. Stay grounded. Remember, the reversal was never just for you. It was for every life connected to you. Hold it loosely, steward it faithfully, and let your character rise as fast as your favor. Notice this. Resistance has been strongest in the area. Reversal is due. Long-standing financial strain. Expect unexpected provision. Long battles with identity. Expect clarity and acceptance. Repeated relational cycles. Expect alignment with people sent to walk with you. The shadow points to the light. And tonight is not only about noticing reversal, it's about preparing for it. Ready yourself by clearing your calendar for the unexpected. Ready yourself by loosening your grip on how it must arrive. Ready yourself by declaring, I receive reversal in the form heaven sends it. Reversal is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is the signature of a God who redeems time, who wastes nothing, who makes even what was meant to bury you become the soil that nourishes your rise. Tonight, chosen one, lean in. The mechanics are already turning. The tide has shifted, and the very ground that once resisted you is preparing to carry you forward. When breakthrough touches your life, it never stops with you. It ripples outward. Every yes you whisper, every act of faith you carry, becomes a current that reaches others, sometimes people you'll never meet. Tonight, before 9, the Spirit reminds you, your acceleration is not private property. It is communal inheritance. Think of a stone dropped into still water. The impact is small, but the ripples move beyond sight. That's what your obedience looks like. You forgive, and a sibling suddenly finds the courage to release bitterness. You create, and someone miles away believes they can start again. You speak light, and a stranger scrolling in despair finds hope enough to breathe one more day. This ripple effect is why the resistance around you has been so fierce. The enemy isn't just afraid of your freedom, he fears the multiplied freedom that follows. If your life stays bound, the chain reaction stops. But if you rise, if you step into assignment, entire circles shift, generations shift. Your ripple assignment is simple yet weighty, to live in such a way that others glimpse possibility through you. Not perfection, not flawless execution, just faith lived out loud. Sometimes your ripple will be quiet, an atmosphere of peace in a chaotic household. Other times it will be public, an idea, a project, a word that goes further than you imagined. In both cases, the impact remains eternal. With assignment comes responsibility. You will be seen more, and admiration will follow. Do not let it seduce you. Remember, the ripple isn't your performance. It's heaven's current flowing through your obedience. When applause comes, turn it into fuel for humility. When criticism comes, remember, it's evidence that the wave is moving. And don't underestimate the ripple you carry even now. Think back. How many times did you survive when giving up felt easier? How many nights did you keep believing when silence pressed heavy? Every one of those choices already sent ripples outward. Others have drawn strength from the very battles you thought no one saw. Tonight you are being asked to widen your vision. Don't see your breakthrough as a private rescue. See it as a public release. The gift is personal, but the impact is collective. The favor is yours, but the testimony belongs to many. So step carefully into the ripple assignment. Live aware that your words echo, your choices carry, your presence shifts atmospheres. The miracle touching you tonight will touch others tomorrow. That is how heaven multiplies through ripples that never stop at the first wave. Chosen one, stand ready. The water is moving, and your ripple has already begun. When the hour passes and the threshold is crossed, the work is not finished. It has just begun. Many stumble here, believing the miracle means they can return to old rhythms. But chosen one, after 9, your task is stabilization. The gift must be guarded. The flame must be tended. The promise must be stewarded. Think of a newborn fire. It blazes bright when sparked, but without care it dwindles. You don't fan it wildly, you feed it steadily. That's what your life requires after this hour. Heaven has struck the match. Now you keep the embers alive through rhythm, not spectacle. What does stabilization look like? First, adopt a daily rule of life. A simple practice that anchors you. It might be journaling every morning for 10 minutes. It might be whispering one line of prayer before you look at your phone. It might be stepping outside to breathe deep before sleep. The content matters less than the consistency. Stability is built brick by brick, habit by habit. Second, learn to watch for confirmations without demanding them. Heaven often affirms obedience through small signs. A phrase overheard that mirrors your prayer, a dream that lingers, a sudden provision right when you needed it. These are not coincidences. They are whispers saying, keep going. Record them, write them down. They become anchors in storms ahead. Third, protect your relationships. After acceleration, old patterns may try to return. Guard your circle. Choose companions who honor your assignment, not just your comfort. This doesn't mean shutting everyone out, but it does mean discerning who gets access to your vulnerability. Stabilization thrives in healthy company. Fourth, give your gift away consistently. Don't wait for the next stage, the next platform, the next permission slip. Use it daily. A word of encouragement, a prayer, a song, a kindness. Every act keeps the gate open. Every offering keeps the oil flowing. Finally, pace yourself. Acceleration does not mean exhaustion. You are not called to burn out proving worth. You are called to walk in steady fire. That means rest is holy, silence is sacred. Recovery is as much obedience as action. If you treat this night as only an event, the flame will flicker. But if you treat it as the beginning of a lifestyle, the flame will grow. Stability is the hidden miracle. It's the proof that what you carried wasn't just a burst, it was a birth. So when the hour has passed, breathe deeply, walk gently, steward faithfully. Let the rhythm of small acts become the walls around your promise. After 9, chosen one, your call is not to relax into complacency, but to rise into consistency. For tonight is not only about the opening, it is about the building. And your building begins now. Now the words settle. The fire quiets, but it does not fade. You have walked through the threshold, faced the resistance, turned the key, and opened the gate. What remains now is rest holy, grounded rest that allows the seed planted tonight to take root without interruption. Close your eyes, chosen one. Feel the weight that once pressed on your chest begin to lift. Notice the silence in the room, not as emptiness but as presence. Heaven does some of its strongest work in silence, after the prayer is prayed and the act is done. Trust that what you've sown in obedience tonight is already multiplying beyond sight. Carry this truth. You are not late, you are not overlooked, and you are not small. You are part of a lineage of those who opened when called. Your name has been spoken, your gift has been unwrapped, and your ripple has already begun to move outward. The unseen counsel has recorded it. You have aligned with it. And now you can rest, knowing heaven will carry what you cannot. As you breathe, let forgiveness remain your shield. Let gratitude become your rhythm, and let humility anchor your steps. You don't need to force tomorrow. You don't need to chase proof. Confirmation will arrive in its time. Your only task is to stay available, steady, and open. If these words stirred your spirit, reflect on them in stillness. Perhaps write one line in your journal, or simply whisper, "I receive." That is enough. Faith is not a performance, it is an agreement. And tonight, you have agreed with heaven. Rest now in the assurance that the scroll has not closed, the promise has not expired, and the covering has not lifted. The hour struck, and you answered. That answer will echo longer than you imagine. Sleep with peace, rise with clarity. Walk tomorrow knowing you are chosen, you are guarded, and you are already in motion.